All right, let's talk about corn. Corn is one of those things that we're going to direct seed. Again, if you can pre-sprout it, that's going to do a lot of good for you to get it through that delicate germination stage. Because in those 3 to 5 days that most seeds need to germinate, you have to keep the moisture just right. And so if you can control that in your kitchen, that's, you're going to be that much more successful.
Higher probability.
Yeah. So again, in Texas, we have 2. I've even done 3 plantings of corn in one season before.
Wow.
So plant it, harvest it, plant it, harvest it, plant it, harvest it. If you watch the dates just right. The trick is to know how many days your corn is going to be. And it can't be in the flowering stage when it's above 90 degrees. So if you can figure out the dates just right, you can get 3. But for sure, you can get 2 planting seasons. They do the first planting season 1 to 6 weeks after the average last freeze date. I actually put mine in like 2 or 3 weeks before the average last freeze date. I tend to watch the farmers around me who grow corn commercially. Okay. And when I see them putting seed in, I know it's time. Because those guys, their whole livelihood is resting on this. And they really know what they're doing. Just keep in mind, if you are pre-sprouting the seeds, that yours is going to be 5 days faster than theirs. And so if I see farmers around me planting, I go start pre-sprouting mine in my sprouting jars, and then I can plant mine, and then mine will catch up with theirs right away.
Yep.
So there's 3 different varieties of corn that you can grow. The sweet corn that everybody loves. Unfortunately, most of it's hybridized or bioengineered. And so
that means it's not heirloom?
That's correct. Okay. So that means that they've done some manipulation. If it's hybrid, that just means that they've cross-pollinated 2 plants. Okay, so nature does that. So that's not crazy. You can eat that. It's not going to change your DNA. The bioengineered or genetically modified corn, those are the ones where they've gone in on a molecular level and changed the DNA of the plant. Okay. Yeah. You can't wash that off. Yeah. That's been permanently changed. And so we avoid those like the plague. Sweet corn, like the heirloom sweet corns, there's only like a handful of varieties. So you're a little bit more limited. Then you've also got field corn or flour corn. So again, carbohydrates that farmers can grow, this is one of them. And then finally you have your popcorn. So those are all different varieties of corn. You cannot grow a sweet corn and turn it into popcorn. It doesn't work like that. So we grow a variety of flour corn that is, it's a Native American variety. It's called Painted Mountain, and it's beautiful. The corn cobs have every different known color to man that corn grows. So they're beautiful. Reds and purples and oranges and blues and just beautiful corn. And we can either harvest it in the milk stage, so it tastes like sweet corn, or we can leave it on the plants and allow it to dry out, and we turn it into masa. So
is that what they use for the tamales?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So you have cornmeal, which is just dried corn that's ground. And then you have masa, which is dried cornmeal or dried corn that has been nixtamalized. So they soak it in lime water overnight. And then the next day you can rub it and you can get that hull off of the outer part of the corn. Then you re-dry that and then you grind that, and that's masa. And if you're ever going to have to pick between one or the other at the store, between cornmeal and masa, always get masa, because it's going to be so much easier for your body to digest it because it's had that outer hull removed. And so a lot of times, if you eat corn, you can see it. Yeah, when you pass it, you're like, because it hasn't. That's right, because it doesn't break it down because it's a seed. And it's got a protective endosperm around it that's going to keep it from germinating until the condition is right. So if you can break that down using this nixtamalization process that all ancient cultures that ate corn did, then your body's going to be able to take up the nutrients that the corn wants to give you. So we go through that process. Yeah. You will also 100%, if you grow corn, 100% you're going to get corn silk worms. So a corn silk worm lays its eggs in these silks that the corn stalks will start making when they're making an ear of corn. So to keep the corn earworm away, you just take some mineral oil in a syringe and you squirt it on those silks, and you won't have any problem with them.
What, like a mineral oil would be like magnesium?
No, it's just called mineral oil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just HEB or whatever grocery
Okay.
store and buy some mineral oil. And then I just use like a baby syringe or some kind of dropper to squirt it in there.
Yep.
And I typically only have to do it one time. Most of my corn will all put the silks on at the same time. They're only out there for like 10 to 15 days. And so maybe you'll get to do it twice, but most plants I only have to do it that one time. It's totally worth the 10 minutes it takes to go out there and do it. There's nothing worse than harvesting an ear of corn, pulling it open, and there's a bunch of worms on the top. Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
So take the time to, that's right. If you want to know, we were talking about harvesting. Sometimes it's hard to know when to harvest certain things. So corn, you know it's time to harvest it when those silks are all dried out. You can kind of see it in this picture on the back of this one that's got the really tender looking silks. That one behind it, the silks are all dried out. So that's one thing that you're going to look for. And then the other thing is you're going to be able to feel the pulp, the plump kernels through the corn stalk. So you can feel up and down that whole ear of corn, and you should be able to feel the undulations for the different corn kernels. And then two, you can just kind of peel back the top, but just know that when you do that, like the fire ants are going to find it faster.
Exposes it to
it's a little,
predators.
like you really want to make, like you want to check these other things first, and then you want to do that. But you don't want to just break it off and harvest it and then open it out, and feel like, oh, if it just had 3 more days, this would have been great, but it's not really even edible right now. So we want to make sure we're harvesting things at the right time.
So is the color brown on the ones that are ready for the?
Yeah, when they dry out, they turn that dark brown color.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see fresh silks. They look like a little blonde towhead child, and then the ones in the back, they're all dried up, shriveled up. And if you're growing corn for the field or flower corn, or if you're growing it for popcorn, you actually want to totally leave all those ears of corn on the stalks until they're all dried out, until the stalks are dried out, the ears are dried out, the whole plant is dried out. It looks like a dead cornfield. Then you want to harvest them. You want to dry those on the stalks.
I want to grow popcorn.
Yeah, it's fun. It really is fun. We grew some last year for the first time. And then again, if you're using any kind of heirloom corn, you just keep back your own seed.
Yep.
So
then you have to worry about the hybrid and the other GMO
That's
stuff.
right. Yeah, because anytime again, hybridized plants are not unsafe to eat because hybridization is a natural process, but you can't keep seeds from hybridized plants because you don't know which parent they're going to react like. So you don't know what you're going to get or if they're even going to be able to reproduce. So.
Yeah.
All right. Our late season crops, how are we doing on time?
1:51. So we're 52 minutes in, and usually we'll do a Q&A for like 30 minutes.
Okay.
So
I think we're doing good on time then.
Yes.
So our late season crops, these are the ones that love the hottest part of our year. Okay. And I know so many people, they just quit gardening like in July, and people will run into me and they'll be like, oh, you're still gardening? And I'm like, yeah, we're still eating. So you find things that will adapt to your climate, and that's what you focus on and grow. So 3 to 4 weeks before moving outdoors, I like to put most of these late season crops in pretty much around now in May, like May 15th is maybe the latest I'll get these in the ground. And that's so that they have enough time to grow. All of our winter squashes we do in the hottest part of the year. We focus our summer squashes on that early spring where it's kind of nice and gentle hot outside. The winter squashes can take the super hot, our watermelon and cantaloupe. And then we're going to direct seed okra, yard-long green beans, which most people are not familiar with. And it's crazy because they're such an amply producing green bean. They love the heat. They're a member of the cowpea family, so they do taste a little bit different from a traditional green bean. But I don't even plant more than like 8 of these plants because they're so prolific. You're going to have more green beans than you know what to do with. The cowpeas or dried beans are really popular in the South. And then again, your corn, and then also peanuts and sweet potatoes. Those are all things that love the hottest part of the year. So like, look, this is this giant list of things that we can be growing in the hottest part of the year when everybody's quitting. Yeah. So, and this is what it looks like in the garden. You can see there's some dead corn over here that I'm just waiting to harvest. You can see cucumbers that are dying on the vine over here because cucumbers don't like